you know, if you see, remember the old Charlie Chaplin films, for instance, or any silent film, you would see, let's say Gold Rush, okay, and Chaplin is sort of, you know, trudging up the mountain and it's snowing and it says, and the tramp kind of walks up the mountain, you know, as the blizzard, whatever, right? Okay. Now, those were called as translites, okay? Now, those were used because there were no dialogues. You used text to build context. So, very early in the game, it was something that I was trying to do. And I figured that I wasn't proficient enough as a writer who could manage economy with words. So my friend Jerry Pinto was trying his hand over there. Jerry's come home with me a couple of times, he's tried it out. It's a very beautiful piece of writing. But then, you know, a couple of years later, I said, boss, forget it, nahi chahiye. So Jerry jokes even now saying, okay, you kind of, you know, kicked me out of the project. You know, but what you realized was, you see, it's a very efficient bit of writing. It says the hot winds of Kalbusha begin to blow around June. Since they are harbingers of monsoon, Awadpur hunkers down and waits them out. When the rains come, they bring with them the preparation for the Rath Yatra. The deity of Radha Madhavji, incarnation of Krishna, will be brought from his home to be paraded through the village, drawn on the Rath, it goes on. Now, the thing is, when you read this, and when you say 10 years later, when, you know, I'm struggling to do that essay, the 6 or 7 pages in the beginning, the point you realize is that Jerry is a very, very, very accomplished writer, but he wasn't invested in the project. It was my project. You know, so what I'm bringing to the table, he is not bringing. He has the words, but he doesn't have the feelings. Yeah. So you see similar things working. So you see, this is all the early part of the book. These are sequences that were being tried. You know, the build up to the story. You know. So the one portion in the Excel you must have seen where it said, oh, find out timing. So this was the boy I wanted to find out what time does he go for a swim. So that was the notification. These are pictures when the idols are being almost ready and there. See, these were, you saw the previous sequence, this is the same sequence but you have tried to rework it. So some images have changed, the sequencing has changed, that's all. This is that sequence which is what was replaced by that single image of the car window. So if you see here, now that's my cousin and my sister-in-law, that's a cousin, that's my cousin and an uncle, that's a cousin uncle. But you don't know who these people are. They could be like ordinary passengers. So you don't know that these are characters of the story. So you have no reason to kind of care about them, right? So therefore, this sequence eventually was dropped. It was tried over many years. So you will see here how the gatefold. So this opens out. So when this was being shot, so that's the picture where I said, him blowing the conch, it needs to be. So even there are pictures of him which are shot from the other side. Okay? And anyway, sometimes, someday, ek din yahan pe khada hoga, ek din wahan pe hoga, and then you can't do the picture anyway. So, but this sequence of what comes where, you have got it plotted. So if he is here, then the sequence kind of falls flat, you see. So then you need to kind of photograph him in that sense. Yeah? Also what it does is, if you, on that Excel sheet, you see these were planned and I needed a picture of a close-up of the booty. So it's not that ye photo se crop karke dala hai. So you know, you're also trying to do that picture which is of the hand holding the ganti like that. So you know, it's a mix of the close-up. It's like in any movie, right? You're doing close-up, wide shot. Think about it. Any movie that you have seen which is only close-up, then it could be interesting, but we haven't seen it yet, right? Okay, so there are reasons why. So that's what it finally became. You saw that, you see this. So you see, that's the breakfast table. This is what was being tried. Different things, you know, food being prepared, food being served, people standing there, people standing outside and doing, and you know, and it got replaced. 6 images get replaced by 1, and you realize how it is, you know. Well, I mean, if you want. So this is an interesting thing. So you see, this is when the book was being thought of as a vertical book. Okay, so these were things that were being considered. Meaning, I was thinking, could it work as a potential? The name was not sure. We were trying to muck around with a lot of things. That's it. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You shot only in black and white?
Yeah.
Always? Throughout the...
Throughout. Only the last 2 years was I shot on digital. Because, I mean, just go digital, aa gaya tha tab. So you said. And I think in a way it was good because, you know, I could quickly review and say, okay, chalo, 3 more pictures done. You know, that sort. But I think I was running out of patience. I'm a very patient person, but I think I was running out.
Well, I would love to add something. Yeah, we'll come to the questions one by one. I would love to add something since I think I don't know how many of the people those who are here have ever seen Ray to the extent Bengalis have seen. So in Bengali, I think Rabindranath Tagore and certain Ray is like inherent in the DNA. But I would love to say something like Chirodeep has said. So Satyendra Ray's movie, what I felt is like it's for all ages. So when I have seen the movies when I was young in the school, so my perception for the movie was more on the funny part or rather the playful part of it. When I see those same movies right now, it's more about the political satires that he has put in. So he has various layers to it, but one thing, so we usually we find the term called perfectionist used in most of the filmmaking on these days in any kind of industry. But I have seen one interview. There was another famous movie done by Satyendra Ray called Mahanayak, where the main hero was Uttam Kumar. And there was a scene where he was supposed to, I think I have told the story to a few of us before. So there was a scene where he was supposed to walk down. As simple as that. After listening to this, सबको लगा चल के तो जाना. But before the scene was shot, when there was like a discussion with Satyendra Ray explained the scene to the actor, and he told that why don't you just walk out from here and there and just show me your variations that you can showcase to like enlighten this particular thought process. So, and Uttam Kumar is also a very renowned actor. It's like not a regular actor. It's like pioneer. So he did some variations. I think 12 iterations he did. And at the end of the thing, then Satyendra told, I think you can go with the 6th one. That's good. Then even he was amazed that, hey, which one was the 6th? I really forgot. Like I just, wow. So at that moment, Satyendra is showing his notebook that these are your footsteps. This is how you have walked all the 12 steps. So by the time he walked this distance, he was sitting out here. He was just making a note how his footsteps are falling, what are his postures. This is the level of that person. I think that's, I think we call it Bengali Konadan. It's like that. You will never get people like this. He is to that extent that he is so much particular about I want even your footsteps. So maybe it's not even frame. The frame will be in the waistline, but he wants him to walk exactly like that. So that was the thing there. And I think any form of artist, whether you are a musician, whether you are a composer, whether you are a singer, you are a film producer or doing a film or whatsoever you are doing, you should definitely watch all his movies irrespective. There are a few more. I would also love to add a little more of Roshan to it. I somehow loved his way of showcasing feminism in the recent times. Few more are there, but something. Like you watch any movie. Like I don't know how many times I've seen Arutu. I cannot count how many times I've seen that. But still, even today, every time I see when the climax happens, I get the goosebumps. I don't know why. So those are that's the fineness of narrative. I think that's how it connects you. But still, it releases you when you restart from the first scene. I think that's great. But this is such a great learning for us. I think, Chirodeep, I think I am listening to this narration again. I think if not less than the fifth time live.
Really?
Yes, actually. So even today, because the moment he was showing those photographs, I remember he was explaining about that fight. I remember everything. I remember about the clouds and everything. But still, you see, it's same way that when you get influenced by veterans like this, that's what happens to you. That your perspective towards photography or any kind of thing that you are doing changes to a larger extent. You get more directional way of doing the work. More, what do you call it? Very properly defined space in which you work, and the work definitely reflects. So once again, big round of applause for Chirodeep. We are now planning to have all the three panelists together on the stage. After a short break, we'll have a last tea break, and we'll have all the panelists. So the plan is we'll have a small set of questions again on photojournalism and unfiltered photography on today's day.
You want to do it now and then do tea, I'm okay. If everybody, whatever.
Maybe just it's fresh because and one question.
Yeah.
I forget it.
Please.
How did you come to a